See, in India, basically in ancient time, this I am talking about few hundred years back, there was university called as Nalanda, if you have heard of it. That was into existence for many thousands of years. It was into this British era and Mughal era and all that, that they destroyed it, and all our ancient science, what we call, was totally lost. Now what it had? An architect in those times knew all the 64 arts. If you have heard about all the 64 arts, in that Vastu, Jyotish, all these are also one of the arts. So there were total 64 arts. If you had to take admission into that Nalanda University, you had to answer the questions of the security people who were standing outside. If you answered their questions and if they feel that you are right, then only you were given admission. So you can understand what was the knowledge they had. Okay. Any teacher there who is teaching in Nalanda University in those eras had to minimum master 30 different subjects. Out of the 64, minimum 30 subjects they have to master. Then only they were allowed to teach there. Whatever I am telling this has been noted down by a Chinese person many years back, and it has been found from that diary. That is what I am speaking here. I just forgot his name. I will get back. He has noted all that in his diary. An architect, if he wants to become an architect, he has to know all the 64 arts. Not even 60, all the 64. Means he has to know science, he has to know astrology, he has to know Ayurveda, he has to know about the forms, structure, engineering, everything. All that is there in all 64. Then only means his half of the age, almost up to say you can say 40-50 years, was just in studies, and then he would become an architect. And even the principal there, whoever he is, he has to know all the 64 arts. So that was the caliber India had. And all around the world people used to come there and study, because there was no other knowledge available anywhere in the world. It was only in the Nalanda. And they say that when it was burnt, it took 6 months or something, or years something. That much was the amount of books available there which they burned down. And today now they are reviving, and they have started a couple of subjects again in Nalanda, in which environment subject also is there, one which they have started. Out of the 5 or 7 subjects that they have started. And the knowledge that we are going to acquire in coming levels is also one of the art which is called the Vaastu-shastra. But the ancient had, see, Shastra again is the word, means science. Means what? If I can do it, and if someone learns from me, or if he also learns, even he should be able to do it. Then it is called a science, means the Shastra. Like in doctor or today's world, where if you learn something you can do, other person learns, he can do. So then it becomes a science. And what is true for one, when it becomes true for all, it is called science. And normally they tell if it is 85 to 87%, again it is science out of 100%. So now it is reviving, and there are a couple of people in the south also, which at present era they are working to revive all that 64 arts. So all the Juna jo Granths hai apne, which are there still maybe in some libraries, jinki lipi today we may not be knowing, so they are trying to bring them out and finding out people who may be knowing that, so that they can translate into the language that we can understand, and then working on it to, one is to translate and then making into some animation, because without animation just read theory also it becomes difficult to understand. So already one of such subject is been worked out for say last almost 10 years. First is converting into a language, and then on each sloka making that sloka converted into some animation, so that you read the sloka, read the meaning and see the photograph or the animation or something, and you understand the whole, okay, what it is. And I'll give you a small example. जो भगवान की मूर्तियां बनती है, in that they put chaksu, it is eyes, which we call chaksu. So of glass or some stone, one person was making such chaksus, and people used to buy to put on their figurines and all. At one of the places, this person came across a person who was making anything but he was using some calculations. Because even today, when they make a murti or any figure, there are particular calculations. जैसे अपने भी body में we are made of golden ratio, and from here to navel, if you count, and from navel to below, it is at a some particular ratio. If it is out of ratio, you will immediately come to know when you see that person. So normally even this part to this part there is ratio, even ears this part to this part there is ratio, even eyes, everything in the body is made of golden ratio. Now if you check by actual figures. So that chaksus also, that person was making with particular measurements. And when they were put on the idol was actually still like it is life. It has pran in it. And the other person who saw that previously it was just made. There was no any particular measurement in that. So when he came across this thing, the person told him, you do one thing. You are making yours, you keep that. In that you keep these also mixed. And you observe whether what people are picking up and then what you are getting in reply. So he just kept randomly all things together. And he watched over a period of time, say 1 or 2 months, 3 months, 4 months, what is happening. He found out that people knowingly, unknowingly picked up only those eyes which were made according to some calculations. They didn't know anything. They were kept all mixed. Only those were selling, the others were not selling, because of the calculation, it was showing some energy in it, what we call the prana or the chi. And he then found out, no, there is something in this, there is a calculation, therefore knowingly, unknowingly people are picking up only those eyes and are using it. And then he started to make everything out of those calculations then, which we call Ayadi calculations in Vaastu, which we will learn in level 2, 3, 4. Okay, if you are making a house, a property, a plot, there are some measurements which you can use. Only this measurement in itself makes the energy life in that property. And it gives also some age. Why over a period of time things topple down? Because it already has some age limit given to it because of those calculations, knowingly or unknowingly. Today we are randomly making houses, but it has its age. Once that age is gone, either you leave that house automatically, or due to some reason it is brought down, or it is changed, whatever. So this is some of the history that I have come across, which I just shared with you. If you want to ask anything in that, maybe if I know anything more, maybe then I can share with you. अगर आपको कुछ जानना है, if you have any particular question in that.
तो जितने भी राजस्थान में देखिए जो पुराने किले गढ़ बोलते हैं,
everything is made.
वो सब आज की तारीख में सब खाली पड़े हैं.
हाँ.
किसी में भी लायक नहीं.
ये जो हुई ना उनकी.
लेकिन या अगर मैं उनको देखता हूँ तो मुझे ऐसा लगता है कि इन सब में एक चीज बड़ी कॉमन है, सब में आर्चेस था. तो क्या आर्चेस
वो हम फॉर्म्स पे जब बात करेंगे in Vaastu, we will talk about that, and we will talk about all the killas and everything that was built in the ancient time.
तो वो
was
सारी क्या वास्तव में सही नहीं है, क्यों ऐसा क्यों हुआ?
नहीं, आप समझे नहीं. हर चीज का एक टाइम है. जो अभी मैंने बात की ना कि एवरीथिंग हैज सम टाइम. हर एक टाइम के बाद वो चीज का जान जो है, प्राण जो है, वो खत्म हो जाएगा.
जिसका जन्म हुआ
उसका मृत्यु निश्चित, सिंपल. तो आज की तारीख में उसमें एनर्जी इसलिए नहीं है कि उसके जो जिस फिगर में वो बना है उसके एज डिसाइड हो गया, वो एज खत्म हो गया और इसके लिए वो खाली पड़ा है और कुछ नहीं. और जो हम सीखेंगे और हम खुद कैलकुलेट करेंगे, जैसे आपका खुद का घर है, तो अगर आपके पास उसका परफेक्ट डायमेंशन है, पूरा पेरीमीटर है, तो यू विल फाइंड आउट द एज. यू कैन फाइंड आउट द एज. यू कैन चेंज इट. यू विल लर्न दैट.